Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Whether you're tuning in on the radio dial, we welcome you all back to our program. Also, those joining us through our online affiliates and our Heart family, we're glad to have all of you with us as well. James Bland is making his first appearance on our program today to talk to us not only about his journey as an actor, but also what it's been like for him to be a creator of content as well. He's gearing up for the premiere of Season 2 of his series called Giants. We're going to talk to James not only about how the series came about, but also what it's been like for him to see the response to Season 1 and what you all can expect from Season 2 as well. Just now finding out about Giants, we'll tell you at the end of our broadcast how you can stay connected with James and the rest of the cast. But James, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure's definitely all mine. Let's go ahead and jump right into Giants, James. I know, from what you've been posting, especially on Instagram, I mean, you guys are excited about Season 2 coming up on February the 21st. What has it been like for you to kind of see the excitement that's building for the series, James?
Oh, yeah, it's really been incredible. We launched Season 1 January of 2017, and so it's been a full year from January 2017 to, January 2018 of just all Giants. We released Season 1. At the end of that release, we went right into writing, funding, and producing Season 2. We shot, Season 2 from June to November, and we've been in post-production, so it's really just a whirlwind. But I'm super excited that audiences will get the opportunity to see how we've progressed this season, not only from a production value perspective, but also these characters and the stories that we're diving into with Season 2.
Right. Well, James, I think the interesting thing, and I should let our audience know, and I was just sharing with you before we went on here, how I found out about Giants and then found you, and then, of course, this conversation now is helping. One of the actors that's a part of Season 2, Kelsey Scott, has been a guest on our program. She had posted on her Instagram, as happens these days, about being a part of Season 2 of Giants. So I was like, okay, what's Giants? And so that led me then to the Instagram handle for Giants, which led me then to you. I mean, social media has really been a big part of how you all have kind of spread the word about what Giants is doing, and as well as, of course, your own work. What has that been like for you to see the growth from Season 1 to as you premiere for Season 2?
It's really great. Social media is such a powerful tool, and in particular with us being a digital series, we really dig into just social media marketing, and we rely heavily on the internet and social platforms to get the word out. And so the show, speaks to the Black millennial experience, and so it's only right with us being millennials that we really utilize social media to push the show and to get the word out. And, folks are excited about Season 2. Season 1, we left these characters in a very emotionally heavy place. Like one of our characters had a suicide attempt, at the end of Season 1. And so with Season 2, I know folks really want to see what's going to happen. Like, how are these characters going to, be able to mend the scars? And they're all in a very broken place when we start Season 2. But the goal by the end of the season is to get them a bit closer to wholeness.
Got you. So let's go back a little bit, James, because it is your first time on our program. As I mentioned, you not only are the creator of Giants, which we're going to talk more about, but you're also an actor yourself. I mean, what was it that led you to acting? What is it that kind of led you to that calling?
I've always just had a love and an interest for the arts. What you may not know about me is I'm 6'6", and so most of my life I was pushed towards the basketball court. Being a tall black kid growing up in the South, no one really thought to put a camera in my hand. Everyone, said, oh, that boy should be a basketball player. However, I always gravitated towards the stage. And initially, growing up, church was my only outlet for performance because we didn't have a lot of art programs in school or in the community that I grew up in. And so I found, my love for performance through singing in the choir at church and just participating in Easter programs and, of course, Christmas plays. And then eventually when I got to college, I stopped playing basketball. I went to Florida A&M University on an academic scholarship. And so it freed me up to figure out, what else I wanted to do in terms of extracurricular activities, and I found myself auditioning for student plays. And then from there, I found myself auditioning for student films over at Florida State University, which is right across the railroad tracks from FAMU. And, I got bit by the bug, as they would say. Once you kind of, get the opportunity to get on a stage, or for me, also getting in front of the camera and having the opportunity to screen a film that I was a part of in front of an audience, there's an electrifying feeling that you have from that experience, and it's one of those things that you want to experience over and over and over again. And so after that, I just made the decision to move to Los Angeles to pursue, acting and filmmaking full time.
Got you. And, I think, we talk about a lot on this program, James, about, especially when it comes to pursuing our goal or dream, that so much is a variable. You really never know what's going to happen. And, as you said, there were certain things that people may have expected, maybe going towards sports, but you being able to choose, a field that you are passionate about. We talk a lot about overcoming fear and faith over fear. What is it to kind of help to guide you in that respect? Because I think that also goes through the first season of Giants as well. I mean, what was one of those things that kind of made you say, even though I don't know what's going to happen, this is what I want to do?
I just really had to trust the promises of God. I've always felt that God had called me for a greater and a higher purpose. And once I discovered filmmaking, I also realized that filmmaking was my ministry. It was the way in which God was going to use me to touch the heart of men. And so because I knew that filmmaking was connected to my purpose, I knew that he would not bring me to the water and let me drown. I knew that my purpose was rooted in what I was doing, with Giants, and if God's hand was on it, I knew he had to bless it. And so even when we first started season 1, I had no idea if folks were going to like the show, if people were going to watch it. And even going into season 2, I didn't know how I was going to fund it, but I've learned to just take a step. And he'll meet you. If you'll meet him halfway, he'll meet you there. And really, that was the thing. I just knew that this was what I was supposed to be doing, and I knew that God was going to bless it, and he has. He's been true to every single promise.
Got you. And I think that's one of the things that our audience can appreciate as well when it comes to their own gifts. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're speaking today with James Bland. We're talking with him not only about his journey as an actor, but also as a creator of content that you all have been able to enjoy. He's a creator and writer behind the series Giants. We were talking a little bit about that earlier. We're going to get more into that. He's gearing up for season 2 that's starting on February the 21st. So, it's one thing to bring to life characters in front of the camera, James. Did you always know that you want to be behind the camera and kind of the one creating what we got a chance to see?
I did, yeah. I've always just, even, growing up, I was always a producer of sorts. I've just wanted to produce, my own content. And maybe it's because I've always had something to say. And when you are the producer, the writer, you really control the message. And so for me, this is equally about the message, just as much as it is about the art and the performance aspect.
And so that leads us right back then to Giants, because I think the other part of this is, and something that I think a lot of times we as observers of content don't think about is the level of trust that has to take place between those that are behind the camera and those in front of the camera. Of course, you are a big part of this, but what has it been like for you to see the way that, because of your passion, James, you've been able to rally the troops, as it were, and have individuals just as passionate about you excited about this?
It's really great. It's phenomenal, honestly. It goes back to that old cliche of if you build it, they will come. When I tell you that statement is so true, if you build it, they will come. And it's also this idea of if your car breaks down, right, and if you're just sitting in the driver's seat, typically no one will, pull over and help you push that car. It's not until they see you outside pushing the car yourself that people will hop out and help you push. And really, that's been the experience with Giants. Season 1, I wrote every episode. I directed 4 out of the 6 episodes in season 1. So much of the show was on my shoulders. I also edited, 4 of the 6. And then as a result of season 1, going into season 2, I was able to bring on a full writer staff. I was able to bring on a director for every episode. I had a host of really incredible and amazing actors join the cast this season, like Kelsey Scott. I also have like Will Catlett, who's on Black Lightning. I have KJ Smith, who's on Dynasty. I have Woody McClain, who was in the BET New Edition story. And it was because they saw me pushing, season 1 that folks said, okay, I want to help this brother out. And I see the vision. I see what you are working towards. And it's an incredible feeling to know that people are willing to invest their time and talents into this vision. And I have great expectations for Giant season 2.
Right. Yeah. And, I think that the thing is about the expectations. I mean, it's one thing for you to be able to feel so strongly about something, James. It's another to be able to actually hear from people about it. I mean, do you feel as though that level of support, too, when you're able to hear the comments from people about, what they're looking forward to seeing and what characters they're looking to see more of, does that also excite you as a creator to want to do even more?
Oh, yeah, of course. That feedback is extremely important. Because we're on YouTube, we actually get to hear, or let me not say hear, perhaps I'll say read the reactions, from our audience in real time, because folks are watching the show and then they're letting us know how they feel in the comments. And those comments really do play a huge role in how we decide to move forward with the show. Just from a writer's room perspective, we realized that the audience had a lot of questions about these characters from season 1. And so when we started the writing process season 2, we made it a point to answer the questions that our audience had, about these characters. And so it's a special thing to be a digital series and to be disconnected, with our fan base and our audience. And also just as an independent series, we really thrive because of the support of folks. We don't have a huge budget for marketing in a mass media type of way as far as commercials and billboards. And so word of mouth is probably the strongest source that we can have in terms of getting the word out, about this show, whether it's through a podcast or a radio show or just, someone telling a friend at lunch about the series. It goes a really long way. And so I'm appreciative, and I just want to continue to encourage folks to talk about the show. And, that's another big reason why we tackle, such taboo, topics and within the series, because we also want to spark conversation. We want people to start having that talk that we don't traditionally have, in particular in communities of color. Talks about mental health, talks about sexual identity, even talks about religious skepticism. We are typically raised in very Christian, very religious homes, but sometimes your faith is tested, and sometimes you may not believe God the way you believed him at one point. And people need to know that that's okay, and you need to talk to someone about that, and perhaps your story is going to help someone else find healing and deliverance at the end of the day.
For sure. And I think that's the big thing. The other side of that I want to talk to you about, James, and then we're going to remind our audience about how they can stay connected with everything going on with Giants, as well as, of course, as you're gearing up for the premiere. And that's about being able to inspire other people. Have you gotten used to that, being a source of inspiration for other people when it comes to their goals and dreams?
Oh, yeah, for sure. When I first moved to Los Angeles, a friend of mine told me that, James, what you do in life will be the determining factor of what other people watching you will achieve. And so I've realized that I have an audience of folks watching my moves, and I really want it to be for inspiration. I want the things that I do to inspire other people to live better lives, because that's what we're here for. We're here to live the best life that we possibly can. And so I hope through my works and through my actions that people are inspired and encouraged to go after their dreams as well.
Yeah, for sure, and I think that's definitely one of the things that's going to continue to happen, James. So I mean, you mentioned some of the things that were kind of left at the end of season 1 of Giants, and then of course being able to revisit some of those too. I mean, do you find yourself as excited about the what's next? I mean, even though you're the one creating it, when it actually begins and people are able to consume what you've been able to create and what the cast has been able to produce, do you find yourself just as excited about the what's next when it comes to where you can take these characters?
Oh, yeah. Extremely excited because I honestly don't know. I kind of sit these characters down once I'm done with them, and so I don't get the opportunity to kind of get back in their shoes until I pick them back up and we get in the writers' room. And so I'm very excited to see where these characters can go and where they will go. And even at the end of season 2, we knew that we were, as a result of what we had written, that nothing will be the same for these characters, that season 3, we would really have to figure out how they would be able to mend and put together the broken pieces. And so I'm excited to see how we achieve that. And because I'm so deeply connected to these characters, I feel like they're also my responsibility, that I ultimately want to leave them in a happy and a healthy place.
Got you. Well, it's a lot for us to be able to look forward to, again, with season 2 premiering on February the 21st. So make sure you'll look out for that. Again, everyone, James Bland has been our guest for this segment. Great conversation with you, James. We've been talking with him not only about the journey as a storyteller through acting, but also what it was like for him to put on that creator hat, to be able to write and now to be able to bring the world Giants. They're gearing up again for season 2. So, James, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you and kind of keep up with what's going on with Giants?
For sure, yeah. You can follow us on social media. So you can follow Giants at Giants the Series. That's on Instagram, on Twitter, also on Facebook. And if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me at JR Bland on Instagram, Twitter, and also I'm on Facebook. I don't know my Facebook handle, but my website is James Bland Films, and so you can find all of my contact information on that website. And
right.
also, Giants premieres February the 21st on Issa Rae's YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/Issa Rae, you can find all of season 1, and season 2 episodes will begin to stream on her YouTube channel starting February 21st. The new episodes will go live every Wednesday.
There we go, every Wednesday. Well, James, congratulations to you and the rest of the cast. Excited about what's to come for you guys, and looking forward to our next conversation together, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to talk again.
Hey, thank you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late and missed part of the conversation with James, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media sites. So head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.